He sat at that little corner table like he always did, staring at 2 plates, even though only one seat was filled. People walked past him without noticing, but if you looked closely, you'd see the truth hiding behind his tired eyes. A father who never wanted to eat alone, but life had left him no choice. And just when he picked up his spoon with a shaky breath, a soft voice shattered the silence. "Sir, my son's hungry. We don't have anywhere else to go. Can we stay a while? By the way, before we dive deeper, tell me where you're watching from. And hey, if stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps this community grow, and your support means more than you know." His name was Daniel. 28 years old, exhausted from working 2 jobs, doing everything to be both mom and dad to his 5-year-old girl, Emma. Ever since his wife passed from complications during childbirth, he'd spent every night balancing grief and responsibility, hope and heartbreak. But tonight wasn't about loss. Tonight was supposed to be special. It was Emma's birthday. He couldn't afford a fancy celebration, but he saved enough for a small cake, her favorite noodles, and this tiny restaurant where she always pointed and smiled from the bus window. But life doesn't always care about your plans. Because just an hour before they arrived, Daniel got a call. His neighbor said Emma had a fever, and he rushed her home, leaving the birthday meal untouched. She fell asleep after medicine, cheeks warm, breath soft. He sat beside her, watching her tiny chest rise and fall. He kissed her forehead and whispered, "I'll never let you feel alone." But when she was sleeping and the apartment felt too quiet, the weight of the day, the year, the life pressed on him. He needed a moment to breathe. So he walked back to the restaurant, alone. The food sat in front of him untouched, because nothing tasted right without Emma's laughter beside him. He thought about how unfair life had been. How hard it was to pretend to be strong when loneliness clawed at him. He picked up his spoon again, only to put it back down. Eating felt wrong without sharing it with someone. Then came that voice. A woman stood there, holding the hand of a little boy in a tattered shirt. Her hair was messy, her eyes tired, and yet she tried to stand tall. Shame flickered across her face as she whispered, "We don't have money. I'll clean, wash dishes, anything. Just, he hasn't eaten properly in 2 days." Daniel didn't know her story, but he recognized something in her eyes. The same desperation he'd felt so many nights. The same fear of failing a child who depended on you. He didn't hesitate. "Sit. Please," he said. She blinked, stunned. You don't mind?" He shook his head, gesturing to the second plate that had been meant for Emma. Food tastes better when it's shared. Her son rushed to sit, hunger taking over. She sat slowly, tears gathering as she watched him eat. "Thank you," she whispered, voice shaking. "People look at us like we're invisible." Daniel's voice was low, gentle. "You're not invisible. You're just tired. I get it." She wiped her eyes. "I used to have a home, a husband, a life. He left when our son got sick and couldn't walk properly for a while. Said life was too hard. I've been trying to get back on my feet ever since." Daniel swallowed hard. "My wife passed when Emma was born. Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning, but I try to smile for her. Kids don't deserve the weight we carry." They talked quietly while her son ate. 2 strangers, bound by struggle, finding comfort in the simple act of being seen. For a moment, the world outside didn't matter. Then something shifted. The restaurant owner, who'd been watching, walked over with extra bowls. "On the house," he said softly. "Nobody should eat alone or hungry." Part 2 of the evening felt different. Lighter, somehow. Life didn't suddenly become perfect, but warmth replaced the emptiness on that table. Before leaving, the woman took Daniel's hand. You reminded me there are still good people. You gave me hope. Daniel shook his head, smiling weakly. You gave me company. That's worth just as much. She paused. What's your daughter's name? Emma, he said proudly. The woman smiled. Tell her the world is better because of dads like you. When Daniel got home, Emma was still asleep. But he sat beside her and spoke softly like she could hear every word. He told her about kindness, about sharing tables and sharing pain, about how even on the hardest nights, human hearts can light up the dark that he didn't eat alone that night. He fed someone's hope. And in return, he fed his own spirit too. Sometimes life gives you moments that remind you you're not alone, no matter how heavy things get. And sometimes, the smallest act of kindness becomes the very thing that turns someone's worst day into a turning point. So if you're watching this right now feeling tired, overwhelmed, or like you're walking through your battles alone, you matter. You're seen. And kindness still exists in this world, even when it feels far away. Keep going. Hold on to hope. The right souls always show up exactly when they're meant to, because no one deserves to eat alone in this life. And one small act of love can change everything. If this touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder. Their story isn't over, and neither is yours.